This is my second session from day 4, and I'm introducing the Surcingle to him here. So you saw me prep him earlier with the saddle pad and also the rope around the belly. So here I'm just getting him desensitized to the Surcingle because it makes a little bit of a jingling noise. I wasn't planning on recording this session because it is nice to kind of work him without recording, like I've said before, but I decided to show you guys this process a little bit. So this is going to be a shorter video. Usually I just start by letting them sniff it, same way I introduce the saddle pad, and then I'll start by touching it on their neck, their shoulder, around his back and his rib area, and then I'll take it away and sometimes add some motion to it as well, again to create that noise. I do want to make sure that I keep that nose tipped towards me in case he does have a reaction. I'd rather have the hip swing away from me and be in a safer position than have him kind of turn that hip at me and potentially kick out at the object he could be scared of. And this moment was when I realized that it is too big on him, so I had to go and punch some more holes and then get it set up on him. Now, when I first put these on, I usually want them to be fairly snug. That way, when I ask my horse to go out, there's no chance of it sliding back and creating a bigger issue by going to his flank area. He was super patient for me to surcingle him up and tighten the girth, and I always try to go not super fast with this process. I don't want to yank it up and kind of scare him out of nowhere, so I very slowly pull it up and tighten it to a length that is snug. When he's ready to move, I make sure that I stay clear and kind of get out of the way in case there is a big reaction. I want him to have that reaction not on top of me. So I'll start by initially leading them around, and if they are a little stuck, I'll go right away to sending them out. But if I can keep my energy super low and relaxed, I will, and I just kind of walk around like normal. And you can tell every single video he's getting way less sticky. Okay, so once he was super relaxed, I'm going to go ahead and send him out, just like we do every other time, point the direction I want him to go, and then add a little bit of energy behind the drive line. And to me right now, it doesn't matter if he is walking or trotting, it more just matters that he's going the direction I want him to, which is why you can see me getting a little bit more firm about the way I want him to be going. There we go. So again, it's not so much that I want him to trot around here. I do like that his reaction really isn't any worry about the surcingle being on him. It's just that I want to make sure he follows through and goes this way. Now, right there, I did ask for the canter because once we kind of had our direction established, I do want to make sure the first time he does have that girth pressure on, I have him move out, walk, trot, canter. I'll do this with the saddle as well. That was a pretty good response there. I wanted to leave that and to show you guys that he's definitely improving on learning that when his nose tips a certain way to kind of follow along and not resist and brace his neck to it. So far, really great reaction with the surcingle. Making sure I get through all 3 gaits with him. You'll notice when I ask for the canter, I really up my energy a bit. As soon as I get 1 or 2 strides, I'm going to release pretty instantly because he has not learned how to hold the canter quite yet. We're just working on the transition portion of it still. And then I'll do a lot of resting and relaxing because obviously that was a little bit more high energy working on the transitions with the surcingle on. I just went ahead and snugged up the girth one more hole, more to mimic when I have that saddle on him and I want it to be a little bit tighter. That way when I mount into it, it's not going to fall off to the side. Again, making sure I work on the quietness of him sending out to that lunge circle. And I do want to really reinforce the walk on the circle because it's important when I get on him, he doesn't just automatically think he has to stay in the trot the whole time. The walk is definitely an important gait I like to focus on. So you'll see me really trying to slow down my walking pace to hopefully transfer that energy over to him to slow down. And then the reason I asked for him to stop the lunge circle like that is because it's similar to when I'm asking him to yield his hindquarters. If I can get him to move that hip away, that nose will come towards me. You'll see he's still wanting to have a little bit of that reaction pulling out when I send him to lunge. So I'm being really clear in how I'm asking him to go out and making sure anytime that he's looking to the outside to track, I release all of my energy as a reward. Sometimes it does confuse them and immediately they face up again. But if you stay pretty consistent with it, they're going to understand that you are giving them a cue to send out. There you go. That was a better correction there. So his biggest thing with lunging, that'll just take a lot of repetition and conditioning, is going to be making sure when he sends out, he doesn't have that larger, not quite explosive, but just that bigger reaction when he goes out. I'm really working on the sending out portion of lunging right now because you can see there's definitely some confusion and anticipation there. You'll notice that when I sent him out, he kind of tipped his nose to the outside and was looking to be a little bit more resistant in his neck and through his whole entire top line with that. And instead of immediately trying to pull him back around with me, I just moved off to the side with him. And then eventually he softened on his own. So sometimes you just have to give them a longer chance to give you an answer rather than being so quick to micromanage and correct them. So as soon as he settles, when I ask him to yield his hindquarters and isn't anticipating immediately moving off again, I'm going to give him quite a long rest break, wait for that release that he just gave me, and then I will take the surcingle off and I might toss it over his back a couple times, and that'll be the end of that session. So that's basically how his introduction to the surcingle went. It was pretty uneventful, and mainly I was focusing on things that didn't even really relate to the surcingle, so I'm glad that his focus wasn't on that new girth pressure. Thank you guys so much for joining me and watching this session, and I hope you join me for the next one.